was really awesome and
Yes.
one of my favorites, but there was also, we just talked about the Descent into Avernus, there was a dice set that came out for that. So talking about stuff,
Yeah.
we all love the stuff.
Especially dice. That's like everybody's favorite thing to collect, like everybody's favorite thing to buy. You know, if you're going to play in Baldur's Gate Descent to Avernus, what better way than getting some hellish dice? You know, some dark, evil-looking dice to play with, especially as a DM.
I love collecting the dice for the sake of having each special kind of dice, but this one comes with a really cool box that turns into 2 dice trays. It's lined with like a velvet so that you can use it in your game as a dice tray.
Classy.
And then it comes with, again, a map. It comes with a cipher for the Infernal font and a whole bunch of other things that will add to your gameplay. So I felt like that was Nathan Stewart was saying that they had learned and listened to the community about what more do you want from kind of a special commemorative dice set. So I thought that was well done.
It's cool. It's nice to get that community feedback developed into the new product. So, nice.
Yep. And we had the Essentials kit, but also the Rick and Morty D&D set.
Yeah, so Rick and Morty D&D from the minds of, I think it was Kate Welch worked with Jim Zub, who worked on the Rick and Morty comics, the Rick and Morty D&D comics, as well as people from the show. And this is a zany, wacky take on like an introduction to D&D. So if you're Rick and Morty fans, or if you're players of Rick and Morty fans, this is a way to introduce them into an adventure which would feel appropriate in that universe, right? With loads of stuff like extra commentary from Rick. It's all written in Rick's voice that's very meta and talks about Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to be very, very cool.
Yeah, Kate was saying that she felt like she was working with Rick on this project. I love
that. Sounds horrible. That sounds like a terrible place, a terrible thing to do.
We just can't help ourselves from role-playing in this business. So that was fantastic. And then you actually, I think, got a chance to play the Dungeon Mayhem game.
So yeah, I've played Dungeon Mayhem, but I was excited to hear that they're expanding it. It's actually a really quick, fast pace, because I love my board games. And Dungeon Mayhem is a game that I've introduced to tons of different groups of people, non-D&D fans including, because it's really fast-paced, and they announced a brand new expansion, which is going to feature 2 new characters, the legendary Minsk from Baldur's Gate, and Jaheira as well. So if you're fans of the Baldur's Gate games, they're going to be coming back in. It's got new cards, new options for other characters. It's just a nice little fun addition to an already really great game.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I always
really,
love
really
hearing
cool.
Shelley talk about the games too, because
Shelley's great.
Her perspective and the way that she hosts Dragon Talk, I love Shelley Moo.
Yeah,
so.
She's amazing.
There's also a lot of things that weren't on that stage that weren't just specifically D&D.
Yeah, I've been checking them out here. So I've been wandering around the Wandering Market. There was a couple of things I just wanted to call out because I thought they were really cool. So there's a brand new set coming from Beetle and Grimm. And my favorite thing about this is it's coming with the new WizKids Infernal War Machine, which are these things which you're going to be able to ride around in the adventure. So now you can have a miniature fit one. And obviously, because I'm a big nerd and a big kid, the fact that you can put miniatures to ride it, I'm like, yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also the Penny Arcade, our Acquisitions Incorporated book
I was so excited about this.
For pre-order.
Yeah, so you can go and pre-order it. Jerry sat down and went through it with me, which I was very honored by, because I've been an Ack Inc. fan since it started, and going through with him, you can come and check it out. It's amazing. The artwork's really great. It's so funny.
And the art, actually, a lot of it done by Amy Falcone of Acquisitions Incorporated, the C-Team. So definitely a labor of love by all of those people that you watch on stream to bring an adventure that everyone can play.
Yeah. And then the other cool thing is, like, as you come into the Wandering Market, you've got Death Saves, Joe's T-shirt company. They've got a cool logo kind of thing, and it looks amazing. And some of the stuff on there, we actually on Friday, before they were technically selling, me and my crew went up there and we're trying to get some sneaky purchases, because it's all really great stuff. So yeah, very, very cool.
Well, speaking about the Wandering Market, we have some footage actually of this whole area, because we know that some of you couldn't make it to be here in person with us, but we wanted to show you around and tell you a little bit about what we've seen. So hopefully you'll get a sneak peek at that while we talk a little bit about it. But I wanted to start by talking about one of my favorite parts, which is the Adventurers League Epic games that are going on.
Yeah, having everybody actually getting to play D&D.
Yeah, and as I understand it, it's a way to kind of immerse yourself in the new adventure, even if you've never played D&D before, or even if you are a very advanced player, you can come in, get a taste of that, and they have the tables all set up in the main stage area, so you get to kind of feel like you're in the same setting that the main stage games are being played on.
This amazing Baldur's Gate in Hell setting, and you actually get to sit down and play, and it's got that gaming convention feel, right? It's got that gaming convention vibe of a bunch of round tables, everybody comes down, they're going to be playing their character for the first time. And it's just great to see. It's a really, really cool thing. I think we've got the video as well now, so you can actually see some of the stuff going around from the Wandering Market. So Roll20 have this amazing map of like Avernus, which you can go and check out. And yeah, it's just been amazing to see, like, so much work has gone into the set building. Loads of people have come in costumes. You've actually got the costume people walking around, which has been really, really cool to see as they go around as well.
Yeah, there's an army of people cosplaying to kind of immerse you in feeling like you're in Baldur's Gate. And like you said, the immersion has started to spread where I feel like more and more of us are coming to this event feeling ready to kind of live halfway in fantasy and halfway in reality.
I'm gutted because we came in from the UK and we didn't have time. I wanted to go to the nearby Renaissance fair and pick up some costumes.
Right.
Obviously we couldn't bring them with us, but I wanted to come and like have, you've got your elf ears on today.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I wish we could have got some cool stuff like that. So yeah, there's a whole ton of different vendors all around here, and everything's just beautifully themed in appropriate. And what I like as well is you can actually meet the people who run these companies.
Right.
It's not just like, a vendor. You can actually meet the guys who run Idle Champions. You can meet the guys who run Beatles and Grain. And you can talk to them about the hobby, and that's such a rare opportunity to have that with vendors of this nature.
Absolutely, and I think that's what makes this feel so special is that we have people who, like you said, have such a deep passion for what they're working on. They really love the things that they have built around Dungeons and Dragons, and then all of us who are here because we love to experience things that are built around Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely.
So there is quite a feeling of camaraderie, which comes from experiencing all those things and then also getting to play together and kind of whether we're in an actual D&D game or not, spend some time role-playing or imagining or being immersed.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing some of the live games as well, some of the sassy hair flicks from the Relics and Rarities game there. But also the studio pods. That's one thing we've not talked a little bit about as well. Is there's actually all these different studio pods here where loads of different podcast groups are making their shows from, people doing live streams from. We'll talk a little bit about some of the ones you missed earlier, but it's such a great way to kind of feature so much D&D content. Not just the main stage games, but also all these other gaming groups which are all taking part of it all throughout the weekend as well.
Yeah, these are the groups that you see streaming on either the D&D channel or their own Twitch channels or YouTubes every week. And so it's a really, really cool moment for all of them to come sit together in a studio, surrounded by their peers, and then present that content back to their fans.
Right, and that's my favorite thing. Like when I came to the Stream of Any Eyes and the Stream of Annihilation, it's that idea of all of these different D&D groups coming together, getting to hang out. It's like a summer camp, right? It's like coming and spending 3 days with all these people that love the same thing you do and do the same thing you do, and actually getting to spend time with them and catch up. Because for some of us, like myself and the High Rollers gang, but also Dragon Friends from Australia, we rarely get to see you guys, so it's an amazing experience for us to do this. I love this shot, Kelly. Kelly did such a great costume for this game. Like, I'm so glad that she got to be part of that. And the Adventurers League games as well, like all these world-class Adventurers League Dungeon Masters running people through the games. So wonderful to see. I have a funny story actually. So one of the cool things about this event is not only are the public here to play D&D, but they're also walking around as like streamers and people that, people like Matthew Lillard and Joe and Deborah walking around. And my favorite thing, we were just sat having some lunch. And as we looked over and Joe makes his way across the courtyard, just carrying this enormous axe in one hand. And obviously he's such a big, huge guy anyway. It was just this warrior descending through the gates with this enormous battle axe. It was such a perfect analogy for D&D in this event.
And for how all of us like to play here, because all of us are like, I have my dice vault on my belt, like I'm wearing my elf ears. We're just living our D&D fantasy right now, and it's fantastic. So if you didn't get to come this time, we hope we get to see you again in the future, but hopefully that gave you a nice little look at what it's been like here. And we hope that you'll continue to watch all of the live content that's coming out of all these studio pods, as well as the main stage.
Yes.
Speaking of the main stage,
there's some amazing stuff that's happening.
Yeah, we had live games that happened yesterday, and what's kind of going on is that you have the shows that you might be more familiar with episodically in these studio pods, and then we have a massive kind of crossover multiplayer epic going on the main stage, which is in 4 parts, and 2 parts already happened yesterday. So we wanted to give you some of the clips from those to show you some of the cool moments. And the first game was DM'd by Jeremy Crawford, who is the lead rules designer for Dungeons & Dragons, which kind of belies his DM style, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he's so loose, like, and I love that, watching like the live games from PAX and things like that. I love how Jeremy is just such a fan of the players. You know, that's such a key skill for a dungeon master. Like, if somebody comes up with a cool idea, Jeremy will find a way to make it work, and I love that.
And I love that I can point to him as the reference point for D&D rules are meant to give you a framework, not a jail cell.
Yeah,
you know?
they're more like guidelines.
Yeah,
really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he also paints such a very vivid picture. And I thought what was interesting about watching him DM his game was he was so unapologetic about the hellish nature of what the kind of morbid, disgusting nature of everything that was going on. And I love his Mad Maggie character that he did. But in this clip that we wanted to show you,
I love this clip.
Yeah, we had a moment where Jeremy was doing his best to make this just disgusting, morbid place, and one of the characters, I think all the characters actually responded with a little bit of quirkiness.
Yeah, a little bit of quirkiness, a little bit of insanity, and yeah, this you'll see it in this clip. This is a great little gaming moment. A little bit, so you get a freeze frame there, but the idea is, yeah, if you can't see the clip, it's on the D&D Twitch, I think. You can go and check them out there, but it just starts yodeling in the middle of this hellscape, and the players just slowly lose their minds to this endless yodeling.
It was a prayer, which I believe he was playing a bard, or was it? I'm not sure, but either way, he sang a prayer. And it apparently, everyone seemed to recognize the song, and I didn't.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a US thing. I was just like, to me, it was just funny yodeling. I didn't get it. It was a song.
But what I've been told is that it is specifically a song that was in an old CD commercial that people used to watch. And I was delighted.
It's like New Moods. It's kind of like the kind of thing like, you put it on just to get the sound of the ocean and then some guy yodeling for like 20 minutes or something.
I loved the commitment to that and the feeling of complete comfort to just basically scream at length on stage in a character moment. So very well done there.
And the players' reactions make it as well.
Yeah, so then we transitioned from Jeremy Crawford DMing to Kate Welch DMing. And I love talking about DM styles because I think it's so fascinating that there can be so many ways to use the framework of D&D to create an awesome story. Yeah. And I love Kate's style. We've gotten to see a little bit more and more of it lately, and I got the pleasure of being DM'd by her. And her style, like Jeremy's, is very loose, but in a way that's a little bit more, maybe cheeky is the right word, because you brought up cheeky with Kate Welch before.
She's a very cheeky person.
Yeah.
She's got that, she just exudes that confidence though as well.
Right.
And it just makes it work in the game. She's not afraid to call a player out or, to say something. And I think like, if we can roll the clip, it's great. Yeah. But she calls out her DM, Jerry Hawkins from the C team. In a great moment of reversal of roles, I think.
Yeah, let's see if we can play that clip now.
I don't think we can get it up.
No, all right, well, let's describe what happened.
Yes.
So, Kate was playing, and Jerry is so used to being the DM of his games. Yeah. And he's playing Omen Drawn, who's also a very confident character who calls the shots.
Also used to being in charge. You know, Omen's very,
And so Kate told him to roll a check, and he said, well, I think this would be a such and such check, and starts to roll that, and she goes, Jerry, how about you roll the check that I told you to? And the whole crowd goes,
very good Kate Welch. That's a very good Kate Welch.
I have made a study of her ways. I respect her immensely. So that was really fun, and getting to see that bond, and like you said, that reversal.
So there was another thing in Kate's game I wanted to point out, which was Jerry Hawkins was sat next to Clint McElroy, who I had the pleasure of DMing last year, who is the sweetest, loveliest old fella, but who clearly has no respect for the rules and wants to do his own thing. And him and Jerry got up to some great antics, including some pretty lewd antics, I feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is that you can go watch the clip. It's one of the most watched clips of the evening that got a little bit lewd. But the things you can't see that happened in that clip, because I was there watching live, are that there's a moment where Kate just said, and just started getting up and leaving. She was like, I'm done. I've finished. I've done all I can.
I feel like that's a dungeon master reaction when things get too much and you're just like, I'm done. I'm going to leave now. Like, I wish there's been a few moments where I wish I could do that at the table.
And there were some lewd hand motions that were cut out on the part of Joe Manganiello, which I don't know if that was intentional on the part of the cameraman, but if so, I applaud you. But very well done. But that was such a cool game because it was all, you kind of expected it to be a little bit of maybe a stereotypically macho game. Because of the initial conversations were about people being brawny and things like that. And it ended up being a game about shopping and makeovers. And
because every D&D campaign will have the shopping and makeovers moment.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes.
Even when you've got Joe or Jerry and Clint and all the others,
and
you're
Kate,
still going to get it.
I saw Kate being like, all right, well, let's add this to the list of 10 quests you guys have made for yourselves and, continue on. So I think that both Jeremy and Kate are DMs to watch. I adored watching them. And
so great.
We're going to see more from them as players. We're going to see Kate as a player in one of these games coming up. So, yeah.
No, fantastic. Yeah, I think that's one of the wonderful things of like doing these shows and with the streams is it does get to show such a broad amount of DMs and play styles because you've also got the pods and the studio games, the podcast games going on. And with modules like Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, you might think that, if I see one person playing the game, I know what the module's going to be and I know how the game's going to go. And you really don't because everybody does everything in their own way. The players are going to make their own choices as well. And it's going to splinter off into all these ways. Like the way I would run it is going to be completely different to the way that Kate will run it.
Right.
And Kate's players' decisions are going to be completely different to Jeremy's players' decisions. So you're going to see this broad spectrum of cool things in the module that your group may never see, which I think is great. I think that's a great way to showcase the module.
Absolutely. And we've had lots of games coming from the studio pods already today.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kate, we saw the C Team.
Yeah, so like we got a whole big list of them because we've got like 4 studio pods here. We've had Heroes of the Veil, we've had Rivals of Waterdeep, we've had Taking Initiative, D&D's for Nerds, Venture Maidens, we had Acking C Team, Dragon Friends, our lovely folks from Australia. We've had a good time with them, chatting with them as the internationals. And then we also had the Sirens, Tales from the Mist, Enter the Darkness, and the Broken Pact as well. We had loads of games going on.
Yeah.
And I think they're all available on the D&D Twitch. You can go and check those out as well.
Yeah, it's good to note that all of these things we're talking about, you can find them in the Twitch archives of /D&D or /D&D2, D&D3, all of those. You can find them all there if you want to watch them and missed any of them. Or you can look on the clips tab and find out what people have.
Moments.
Yeah, find out what people have found to be the best moments. And then we have more of those coming at you from the pods tomorrow. On Sunday, we've got High Rollers.
Yeah, so our games tomorrow, 11 a.m. From the D&D Beyond studio. Really excited about that. It's been really fun bringing my team out with me this year because obviously last year I was on my own and I was doing stuff, but being able to bring them and introduce them to so many people here and get to showcase the games has been such a wonder. It's been really, really great, and I hope people tune in to watch our game tomorrow. But yeah, we've got we got High Rollers tomorrow. We've also got like a ton of stuff in the D&D Beyond Beyond stream, which is going to be a little bit different. They've got the Arena, which is Brian from D&D Beyond described it to me as the Great British Baking Show of D&D, which I'm excited to see.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fun one.
I do know that Seltzer is over there hosting that, and she is a hosting counterpart of mine, and she's so fun to watch. So if you want to look for a stream that you know you'll be in good hands and shown the action, do check out that one from D&D Beyond.
So there's more. We've got Drunks and Dungeons. There's a lot of Drunks and Dungeons and Dungeon Drunks podcast names. I feel like that's a common theme in the podcasting world.
D&D.
Yeah, D&D. Yeah, I like it. D20 Dames, the Cocktail Crew. We've also got Saving Throw Show, WebDM. Jim Pruitt's going to be here. Girls Guts Glory.
They've got an announcement coming out too. They've been very secretive. They've said that something crazy is going to happen.
Yeah, they were showing off. So they were talking to us a little bit about that on Thursday, which was quite fun. And then you got Uncommon Trust, Monsters and Fables with TJ Storm, I believe. And then loads of other stuff. Nerd Poker, loads of stuff going on. And I'm sure we may have missed some stuff. There's so much.
Yeah.
There's just so much to talk about.
Absolutely. And we only have a few minutes before we transition into that first live game that we were talking about of the evening. But we wanted to spend some time just sharing with you. We talked about showing you around and the things that you've missed. And we had a clip that unfortunately we probably won't be able to play, but it was of Chris Perkins talking during the opening ceremony.
It got me right here. Like Chris has, when Chris talks about D&D, man, it's so genuine, and it really hits you. I'm getting a bit choked up thinking about it.
I know, I can see it in your
Yeah,
eyes.
like it's just, he cares so deeply about the game, and he was talking about how, no matter what, whether you're a dungeon master sharing your stuff on DM's Guild, whether you're a player sharing your character on D&D Beyond, whether you're just telling stories, whether you're doing streams or a podcast, or you're just here playing an Adventurers League, like, that's what it's about. This is the community. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, and he was talking about how it is moments like these that are the moments where we're all saying, hey, bring your thing, whatever your thing is.
Show it.
Yeah, bring it here and it will be appreciated and welcomed. And I think I wanted to encourage people to think about, D&D and streaming for me have been part and parcel the whole time that I've ever, and my first D&D game ever was on stream.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people have this fear of like, I don't know how to play Dungeons and Dragons, or I don't know the rules well enough to come to an event like this. And I just want to encourage people, as somebody who learned on stream by asking questions, that it's one of few communities that has ever been that welcoming and that excited to share the hobby with other people. I mean, don't you get excited about when someone asks you, like, how do I do this in D&D? Isn't it fun to explain to them?
It's my favorite thing when people have, I've done streams where I answer questions and talk to people about, how they can get started, but also hearing people who have started to play and they come to you and they say, like, I just started playing, but I'm having trouble with this thing, and being able to offer that little bit of guidance, or being able to point them to somebody else and say, well, Sly Flourish or Newbie DMA have done an article, you should go and read their stuff. Being able to say, hey, if like my thing that when people say, how do I start playing D&D, or the rules look too intimidating, I'm saying, go and watch a stream, go and watch a YouTube series, go and watch people play and learn alongside it, because like you're not the only one who's learned to play via a stream. Like when High Rollers started, we had most of our players had never played D&D before. How many other streams are in the same boat where people are learning to play as they go? There's never been a better time to start playing D&D. Now is the moment. Get playing.
What would you say if somebody is like, okay, Mark, I hear you, I want to start, I'm watching from home right now, what do I do? Where do I start? What would you give them a first step? Even just like I'm into D&D, I watch streams, I'm interested in this event, but I don't have, I've never played before, I don't have any of the equipment. What would you tell them to do first?
The first thing, you don't need the equipment. All the rules are available for free online. You can literally go and download the rules from the D&D website. So you can start learning that way. You can read through how to make a character. Make your first character. Like whether you want to be a DM or not, make a character. That's a great way to start, because you get to learn about, oh, this is what this is, and this is what this is, and it starts that creative process. Find some streams, watch your favorite streams, get some ideas. Then find some friends, and that doesn't have to be in person. That can be online with Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or Discord. Go and find people that have got the same thing as you. They want to start playing, but they just want to go and just start, And I think,
And if you're looking for places, you mentioned a few online resources where if you're like, I want to create a character, but maybe this big download is confusing to me, or I need something to help walk me through it, or I need a place where I can use digital miniatures or things like that. There are resources like D&D Beyond that can walk you through making a character, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, a lot of tabletop places that you can go to like find adventures or written out things.
There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. But there's so much stuff that I think we need to crack on with it. It's time to get started.
Time?
I think so.
Is it time to go?
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting the signal.
I saw a little hand wave, and I was like, well,
great.
I think it's time.
Well, that's a perfect time for us to then say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm really excited to go watch this next game. I hope you are too.
I am, absolutely, and there's even more tomorrow. So new game now, more stuff happening tomorrow here at D&D Live 2019.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.